podcast where we discuss our favourite books and have a bit of a laugh. Hi, I'm Chloe.
And I'm Meg. I use any pronouns and I'm from Canada.
I use she, her pronouns, and I'm from the UK. So, how are we today?
Good. Also, happy Pride to everyone.
Yes, oh my
Yeah,
god.
Pride Month.
How many days into Pride are we now? 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, wow. It feels weird that so much time has passed
Yeah.
in June already. Like, it feels
Mhm.
like June just started.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think it's also, which I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but I read it's also Mental Health Awareness Month for men.
It is. I think so, yeah.
It is, yeah. So happy
Yeah.
Pride Month and
Happy
mental
Pride.
health awareness.
Yeah. Also, just to everyone in the queer community, I hope everyone's having a good Pride, however you plan to do it. There's a
Yes.
lot going on in the States right now, I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go into it, that our podcast is not about politics.
Yeah,
But
but just know that like you're so validated
yeah,
and you're so
same.
loved and you're amazing and
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I hope you're staying safe as
Yeah.
if you can, and have found a community that you feel okay in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
We love it. We love I was gonna say we love Pride Month, which is probably clear through our episodes
But
because
yeah.
everything is basically Pride.
Well, this book is queer.
Yeah.
Oh, I get
Like I think all our books have been.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. How am I? I am good. A lot of things going on. Continuing on with Pride, we had a thing. I mentioned this to you, Chloe.
Mm-hmm.
Our university, we had a Pride week starting April 29th to, I guess, supposed to be June 4th, like that week. And we had the pride flag, like the raising on the 29th, but they took down the pride flag on the 5th. And I'm like, why? Like, why did you take it down? And the flag they put it up with was just a university flag. And I'm like, I don't think we need a flag up there for the university when there's literally a massive sign that says University of Winnipeg.
Yeah. Especially because it's like it's Pride Month. Like, what are
Yeah,
you doing?
like you could
Like,
at least keep it up for a month. I feel like
yeah.
personally you should keep it up for the whole year, but at least a
That,
month.
yeah. No, that's annoying.
Yeah. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, what's going on? And there was also, so our university posted a pride post on Instagram, which was great,
Mm.
amazing. Someone commented on it, like some hate comments,
Oh,
and there were actually also hate letters that were posted on the bulletin boards around the university.
damn. Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's
This is,
not a slay.
yeah. That's why I'm glad my university, this isn't stereotyping, but
Mhm.
that my university is an arts uni and that literally everyone is accepting.
Um, I want to mention something.
It's fine. It's fine. It's okay.
Fine. Um, about some other things that happened.
Mm.
So yesterday I went on a little walk with,
Mm.
I'm not going to mention the whole thing behind it, but the director for the show I worked on recently, incredible, they're amazing. We first like met up for it, he was reading a book called um Men, Masculinity, and Love, I believe it is.
Mm.
And it's about like gender and stuff like that. It's like a nonfiction book, and I'm like, whoa, it's so cool.
Mm.
It's cool, like it's a good thing.
Okay, cool. I was like, because when you said male masculinity, I was like, that sounds a bit
No,
toxic.
men,
And I was like,
masculinity, and gender, like talking about
oh, okay,
like
okay.
men in love, but it's all about like
Okay, 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 cool.
how masculinity talks to masculinity and like all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really cool.
I really want to read it. I might put a little thing in like the description about the book because
Mm.
good.
Yeah.
Also, the author is apparently really good. So
Oh,
I don't remember her
that's
name
cool.
though.
Very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it was basically me. And then job searching, which you were also doing.
Yeah. So I obviously handed in my final assignment for uni like ages ago.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm now finally home for summer
Mhm.
permanently, which is very nice. I still need to unpack. My room's really messy, so I'm not really able to unpack my stuff and then put my stuff away because
Yeah.
it's a bit of chaos in my room right now. Um, But yeah, I got my feedback from my final assessment, and I think it's the best that I've done in any module this year. So I'm very proud of myself.
Hey, good.
Considering that was the one I was talking to you about that I'd left till last minute.
Mhm.
I'd had only like I think 3 or 4 days before the deadline, I only had like 400 words.
Okay.
So yeah, I did most of it the day before,
You still,
and
that's
I
pretty
did
good
pretty
day.
well. I'm really
Yeah,
proud of myself because it
proud
was
of
really
you.
stressful. Um, but the thing I like about it is that we do like some written stuff,
Mhm.
but the practical is like worth more. So like yes, I'm done with university now. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking about. Um, it's very scary to me
Mhm.
because I know different to you, my last year's next year and I'm
Yeah, I
graduating.
know.
And that just it feels so weird. Like, I don't know. I'm already looking at options for what I want to do when I
Mhm.
graduate. That's like how like much I really need to plan.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't like the not knowing. But I'm
Yeah.
looking at potentially applying for there's like 4 different courses I'm looking at for
Mhm.
applying when I graduate. There's a couple 1 year acting courses that I want to try
Oh,
for to kind
okay.
of do a bit of like intensive acting training because I haven't done it like one-on-one for like a while. And they kind of end with doing like an acting showcase, but agents get invited, so like you're like more likely to get signed to an agent. So
Okay.
it's like pretty cool. And there's also I'm looking at a 2 year master's in screenwriting.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, which it looks
Cool.
really cool and I really want to do it. But I'm
Mhm.
also this is a bit tick tick boom vibes here. Bear with me.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm trying to calculate. I'm like, yeah, but by the time I do that, like how old will I be? And then like I
Yeah.
don't know, it's like a whole thing and it's
That
not
would
a
be
big
kind of, it'd be worth it, I think.
I'll still be young. Like
Yeah.
it's not like I'm not even 20 yet. We'll be 20 soon, but you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I don't know. Like there's people, I think I'm the youngest in my year at university. Everyone else is older than me anyway.
Really?
Yeah, because some of them didn't go
Actually,
because of COVID, so they skipped and then came in
oh,
2020.
yeah, that makes
And then
sense.
some people, like, you don't have to be 18 to join from the
Mhm.
get-go. Like, some people are older and then they join and things like
Yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, I'm just being cautious of how I want to like go about getting into the industry. I don't know, because it's so hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I
And
probably will be finishing university for another couple of years. Because
yeah,
unlike yours, which I'm pretty sure yours is like you're like given like strict courses per year, right?
yeah, there's the course, like when you go into it, it's a certain amount of years.
Yeah.
I mean, unlike, one of my housemates
Hmm.
who was doing performing arts,
Yeah.
because of like kind of personal reasons, he had to drop out.
Hmm.
And so he's going to join our year for third year next year. So he
Okay.
should have graduated this year, but he's going to join us next year, which is nice because I really like
Yeah.
him and it's nice to
That'll be
like
fun.
spend time with him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'll be really fun. But yeah, most of the time, like when you're applying, like how
Hmm.
long you're going to be there for.
Yeah.
And it's usually standard. It is usually 3 years,
Hmm.
but like sometimes it depends on what it is, especially like if it's stuff like medical school or like
Hmm.
lawyer school, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. It's usually like 4, 5, 6 years, I think, for stuff
Okay.
like that. But yeah,
Yeah, for us, as I told you before, it's like picking your courses.
yeah.
So you need a certain amount of credit hours to graduate. I think I need 90 credit hours.
Okay.
Currently, I have about 63,
Hmm.
but next year I can't really take a full course load or I will basically die
We don't want
because,
that. We don't want
yeah,
that.
one of the courses I'll be busy like the whole time.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
unfair.
like,
It's
yeah,
also,
don't
it's
do
like
that.
choosing courses you can take because of like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
times that work. Yeah.
And then something scary but exciting. My first shooting date for my film is this
Yeah.
Friday.
I want to point out, I did point out before, since all of it is on the Burrow podcast email, I can just read all your stuff.
Shit.
So I'm just looking through,
I'm
I'm
so
like,
sorry.
nice. Okay.
I'm so sorry. Do you know what? Okay, so
Hmm.
my laptop has done this weird thing where
Hmm.
if I log into like my Outlook, like on
Uh-huh.
the browser, it won't actually let me write an email. It will let me write the email, but it won't let me write the person who I can send it to. So I opened,
Okay.
like on your Apple, you have a mail app,
Mhm.
like a app for like your mail. So I just like composed an email, and I didn't realize what email it was in because I think all of them are
Oh,
linked.
okay.
I think I put it in the podcast by accident.
Oh, that's
But yeah, I
fine.
can't even hire that venue anymore because it's too expensive and
Yeah, I
I
know.
can't be spending that money. But I've inquired some venues. There's a cheap one that's £18 an hour, which is really cool. It looks good, and
Okay,
they
that's
said
not
that they
bad.
have space. So I'm like, slay.
Okay.
But I was really stressed. I was really stressed. I was really stressed
Well, you're gonna be filming on the 19th
because
and
do you know?
20th, right?
And this Friday
Oh,
I'm using my
okay.
friend's room and the park near where I live. But
Okay.
Monday and Tuesday are like, yeah. Um, but what was I gonna say? Yeah. So because I'm stupid and I've never done this before, I automatically, without realizing, became the producer as well. So I've
Hmm.
been sorting out everything.
Okay.
It's so stressful.
Well, yeah.
It's so stressful. But I'm glad that like I'm done with everything I have to do so I can focus like literally every bit of my energy on this.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like I'm overwhelmed with things. It's like this is all I'm doing at the moment. And then when this is over, I can breathe a little bit
Yeah.
and I can relax. Yeah, it's been a little bit stressful, but I know it'll be worth it. It will definitely be worth it in the end.
Okay. Cool.
And it's gay, so like
Yeah. Very exciting.
yeah,
Talking about
I
gay
know. It's very
things,
cool.
we should move into our episode.
That was smooth.
We
That was smooth. What are we talking about?
were talking about the book called The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper, which he just messaged us on Instagram, and I'm like,
I saw that.
oh,
Like whenever like
anything
I
else?
post a picture of us and it's like a book, sometimes for fun I just like tag the author. I'm like, oh wow, that would be cool if they saw it. And I was
And
like,
they did.
oh, hi, okay. But yeah, I was talking to you this before we started the episode, but I mean, if you're watching this book cover is like one of my favorite covers ever. Like it's just so
Yeah.
pretty.
I have the
Like I
hardcover,
don't
so it's like the
I think it's the colors. It's just like
it's
so
so
satisfying
pretty.
to look at. Like look at that. Oh, it's so
I
pretty.
love it.
And I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I
But
feel like people do anyway. Do you know what I
sometimes I do,
mean?
yeah. Also,
Yeah.
this is the hardcover version. It's just like purple and then the
Oh,
gravity of us. It's
what is
backwards.
it? Oh, I just have the paperback. Mine got ruined a bit in the rain, so it's a
Oh
bit,
no.
yeah, but it's still pretty. It's still
Hmm.
very pretty.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, should we just start? Shall I
Yeah,
start?
you're starting off.
Okay, cool. Um, so for context, the main character is called Cal, and so it's kind of set at the moment he lives in New York. That's him. It's set in New York and he lives in Brooklyn. And he's like a kind of social media journalist person. He has like
Mhm.
quite a big following. And what he does, he kind of live streams and goes live talking about kind of like the politics and the news going
Mhm.
on like in the area that he's from and like what's going on, sort of like elections, like kind of important things like that.
Yeah.
And then at the moment, there's a really topical discussion that's going on, and there's a search for the 20th and the final astronaut in this project called the Orpheus Project, which is like, in short, there's going to be a handful of people who get to go to Mars, and it's this whole kind of really cool space project that everyone's like excited about and wants to know who's going to be like that final
Mhm.
person. And Cal, like he goes on live, and everyone's like, "Oh, are you going to talk about that?" And he's avoiding it because his dad has applied and is hoping that he can like be that person, and Cal's just like a bit nervous and worried about
Mhm.
that. But yeah, so he does that, and we also meet his friend called Deb, who doesn't have the best home situation. We're not told a lot at the moment, but her family and her parents and like that home situation is pretty toxic and it's not really great. There's a lot of fighting and a lot of kind
Mhm.
of like shouting and stuff like that, which isn't really nice for her. but they both live in the same building. They live very close to each other. So they always kind of like go up or down or meet like outside whenever
Hmm.
something's going on like at home that they need to just like de-stress or unwind from. They always like have each other. But yeah, so his dad literally recently had his final interview for that NASA project. So it's all literally just a waiting game of seeing if he got it or not. And his mum kind of thinks that it's this whole kind of fantasy in his dad's head and that he's not really thinking kind of practically and realistically. Because at the end of the day, if by some miracle, if it does happen, they'd all have to like uproot to, I think, Houston in Texas, and they'd all have to
Hmm.
like uproot their lives and
Yeah.
like completely move from that they've known for most of their lives, just like for this kind of thing. And kind of at this point in the book, Cal is kind of like his parents are always fighting all the time and they never agree, and it kind of gets a bit ugly and there's just a whole lot of
Hmm.
fighting. And his mum as well, kind of for some context, suffers from anxiety, and she kind of not most of the time she works from home, so she doesn't really come out the house that much. So that's kind of like a thing as well. Yes. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, so as well, if his dad would have got it, they would also have to be like completely monitored and filmed. There's this TV show called Shooting Stars, and all of the astronauts and everyone involved in the project, including their families as well, are part of this kind of like reality TV show where there's these interviews and they're kind of followed around all the time, which isn't like very nice. That would kind of put anyone on edge, but especially
Hmm.
because his mum like has pretty bad anxiety,
Yeah.
that's got to be like not fun at all was to happen. And then also, which Cal hadn't known before because his dad didn't tell him, but if his dad would get it, Cal wouldn't be allowed to continue his live streams and his videos
Mhm.
because it goes against, I think, the contract,
Yeah.
which just makes me like really annoyed that he wasn't told that from like the beginning, because he's kind of been building this following up for a really long time, because the journalism part of it is something he really wants to do in the future as a thing. But something exciting that amidst all of that kind of chaos, he's really excited because the following week he has an internship at BuzzFeed, which is like
Yeah.
amazing. BuzzFeed is like a really big like social media like organization, which could like potentially break him into the industry that he wants to go in. So it's like amazing for him.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, and then we find out at the end of the chapter that his dad does, by some miracle, get chosen, um, which is it's kind of mixed feelings. It's like, yay, he
Mhm.
got it,
Yeah.
but then at the same time, it's like now we're gonna have to like uproot our lives for all of this, and it's gonna be like a really kind of tough adjustment.
Mhm.
Then what gets revealed is that they're moving Monday, which is the same week he would start the internship,
Yeah.
which means likelihood is he's not going to be able to do the internship now. So that's just kind of a real damper, because not only is he not going to be allowed to do the videos, but
Mhm.
now he's not going to be able to do the internship, and it's just not really nice, because it's not like it's a kind of like fun hobby. It's what he wants to actually do.
Mhm.
So that's just kind of really sad and annoying. So I can really like understand his frustration. So he just kind of like ignores his dad and just like slams his door to his room and just
Mhm.
kind of tries to put some music on to like distract himself, but it doesn't really work. So he, like I said before, Debbie and Cal live really close to each other in the same building, so they can always like go outside whenever something's going on, and that's exactly what happens here. He like texts her and then they meet outside the building. And then at this point, we learn that they actually used to date. They used to be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mhm.
So we actually learned they used to date and they used to be boyfriend and girlfriend. But they were best friends before they were dating. And they're still like such great friends now. Um, but yeah, essentially what happened when they dated is that Cal kissed another boy actually and cheated on her, which wasn't very nice. We
Yeah.
don't condone cheating. But I think what we learn is that when he tried to tell Deb what happened, he was like crown happened, So she was basically like comforting him, even though like she obviously would have been like really upset with what happened.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. And now they're just like really great friends, and there's nothing like no hard feelings between them. So that's very nice. So then the next day they're leaving, like it's leaving day. It's finally come, which is like it's a lot to adjust to within like a few days. You're like, oh, okay, now we're just like moving to this whole other place. But yes. We learn a little, so yeah, we learn about a little bit of insight into this kind of so-called perfect family that the public have seen from that TV show called Shooting Stars. And it's this person, a part of the project called Grace Tucker, and along with her, her two kids, Leon and Catherine. And Cal just like looks them up. And it's at this first kind of moment he looks at Leon and he's like kind of interested in him from that picture.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's all we need to say. It's just a little bit of gayness peeking through there.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so we get to the next chapter and they've arrived and they have this like really cool new house and it has kind of like retro vibes to it
Mhm.
and it seems pretty cool. And they get in, they kind of like move in, and Cal goes live, even though he knows that like he's not really allowed to anymore.
Yeah.
He's just like, you know what, okay, let me just do it anyway, who cares? And he tells them like what happened, where he is, like his dad is the final person who's been
Yeah.
accepted. And it turns out after he went live, he literally broke a national news story and that
Mhm.
works outside the house. And it's like insane. It's like completely insane.
Mhm.
Um, they kind of go outside and Cal answers some of the questions, and then his dad literally just runs inside the house and hides away from it. And then at this moment, we see Grace. We're finally introduced to Grace, and she
Oh,
comes and kind of interrupts. Yeah, and she handles it with
yeah.
like such, I was gonna say with such grace, but her name is Grace, so that sounds really
Yeah.
weird. But she handles it with like such dignity, like she knows what she's doing, which obviously she does. She's probably been media trained.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but then they all go inside the house and they kind of meet each other. And then we're finally introduced face to face with Leon and Catherine, who are Grace's children. And yes, I know, I love them. They're amazing. So Cal kind of goes outside and meets them. And from the get-go, we're like instantly made aware of the fact that Cat is like a big fan of his
Oh yeah.
like live streams and his like social media sort of things. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've just like seen from what my sister watches, and then his sister's like, "Oh, he thinks you're super cute," so that's very cute.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the next little thing we have is that so after that whole live stream kind of fiasco and that whole media circus, he then gets an email from Star Watch, and it's basically a warning that they're going to sue if he continues to like make the videos and things like
Mhm.
that, which is very scary,
Yeah.
very scary. Mm, yeah. So then I think after that he goes out for like a walk, kind of like to clear his head and to de-stress.
Mhm.
And he goes live again, actually, I think. And he's like, again, he's like, you know, like fuck it, like whatever. They can try me. His kind of idea is maybe they're threatening me, but like they
Mhm.
don't actually mean it. It's just like to kind of like make me not do it and to scare
Yeah.
me when they might not actually do anything about it. So he literally goes live and he has like a what's it called, like a email subscription list for the people
Mhm.
who follow him. And he's like, wait for that subscription list because I'm literally going to send you out the email that I got. Like he's going to attach like the actual thing that they sent him. So yeah, that's pretty bold and out there. Like I would 100% back down. I would be so scared.
Yeah.
But he was like, do you know what? I don't really care. I'm just going to do it. Yeah, and then the next little bit we have is he goes to like the community garden to help out with the gardening and things like that, as
Yeah.
does Kat and as does Leon. And we learned that Kat really loves coding and kind of wants to go into that. And Cal's mum is a coder, and that's what she does for work from home. So he's like, oh, like speak to my mum, like I'm sure she'd love to help you out. So that's really cute to see that little exchange. I have a note written down that just says he finds Leon, and then next to it I put gay thoughts. And I think it's a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that delayed response too. Thank you. Um but yeah, they basically kind of awkwardly flirt, and it's really cute. I think for me, like the main thing about this book and the kind of dynamic between them two, at least like from the parts that I've reread, it's just like really cute, and I just love it. It's really cute and really sweet to read. But yeah, and also in this chapter, we meet this person called Kiara, who's going to be very important later in the story. And she's an assistant producer with Star Watch. And she just kind of introduces herself to him, I think, and that's kind of pretty much it.
Okay.
And then the next kind of thing that we have happen is there's a big kind of party that everyone's going to. And Cal is freaking out because Leon's going to be there and he wants to impress him, obviously. So he calls Deb, which I don't think he's contacted since the move. So Deb is like kind of upset and annoyed. She's like, you're literally just calling me for you, like, because you need help with this. You're not asking me how I am or like what's going on with me at home. So she was like kind of annoyed. But by the end of it, they kind of resolve it, and he says that he'll call her afterwards and that he's like really sorry. So yeah, he goes to the party. He's clearly crushing on Leon. There's like so much like description of him just kind of like simping over him and just being like, oh my God, he's so attractive. And like, yeah, basically all of that. And then these two kind of people come up to him, one called Donna and one called Todd, who are part of like the social media team to do with like the NASA project and things like that. And they tries to talk to Cal, but I think his dad like interrupts them because he can see like something going on. And obviously with all of the stuff going on with his live streams, like you don't know what people are going to do and things like that.
Yeah.
And then Cal also meets this person called Mark Bannon, who was the first confirmed astronaut on the project. And the interaction is kind of, when I read it, it's kind of like weird. He's not like the nicest to him. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's because his dad is kind of like a really ordinary person. Like he was a pilot, I think, at like a plane station or something. I can't remember. He was a pilot, but like not like a I don't know. Cal thinks his
Do
dad
you
isn't
mean like
qualified for
at
the
an
job.
airport,
Yeah,
not a plane station?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Anyway, his
continue.
dad was a pilot at an airport. Was it at an airport? I don't know. I'm gonna guess so. Bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, his dad, Cal like doesn't think his dad is like qualified enough for it, and that he's like a pretty ordinary person. So I think like Mark is like, oh, like what is he doing here, sort of thing. So he kind of gives him like the cold shoulder. Um, but yeah,
There you go.
okay, yes. And then after that interaction, Cal kind of goes outside. And who do you think is there?
Leon
Of course.
and Kat.
Of course. They talk a bit about music, about kind of mainstream and indie music. And Leon's like, I bet you're a Brooklyn hipster, which, you know what? He kind of got it right because Cal loves cassette tapes and thinks it sounds better. To be fair, I would really love to get some cassettes
Yeah, it'd
and
really
like get
cool.
yeah, what's it called?
A cassette
What do you
player?
play cassettes on? Cassette. that.
Just a cassette player.
Yeah, I think that, sorry, yeah. I just think they're really cool. And a record player. But it's just expensive. It's why I don't
Yeah,
have
they're really
one.
expensive.
But it would be really cool to have that
Yeah.
actually. But yeah, Leon says how he really likes K-pop and how it makes him feel like really invincible and it just makes him feel like he can do anything.
Mhm.
And then kind of in that moment when they're having that conversation, Cal kind of realizes that Leon isn't that like picture perfect person that he saw like in those
Mhm.
photo shoots. That there's like more to him than that. And Leon talks a bit about his family and obviously about that seemingly perfect image.
Mhm.
And Leon is kind of just debunks that completely. And he talks a bit about his struggle with depression and like his mental health and how he finds it just really hard to like be happy and things like that. Which is it kind of takes a deeper turn, but it's nice that they can have those fun conversations, but then
Mhm.
also like really have like a deep and meaningful conversation at the same
Yeah.
time. And then at this point, Cal wants to kiss him. So
Mhm.
he leans in, which you know what, 10 out of 10 for like boldness. Like I applaud him for that. But yeah, so he leans in and then Leon stops him and he's like, if you want to kiss me because you like me, not because you think it will make me happy. Because obviously straight before this moment he was talking about the depression and how like mentally he's not been too good. So
Mhm.
then Cal kind of immediately is like, oh, I'm gonna kiss you so we can like not be sad anymore.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think that's probably one of my favorite quotes from the book because it's like, I don't know, it just made me think because it's like, don't kiss me because you think it will make me happy, but kiss me because it's a thing that you actually want to do.
Mhm.
And in that moment, Cal didn't want to do it. He wanted to do it for Leon to make him feel better and to kind of like fix him,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Um, so yeah, they don't actually kiss at all, but Cal is like, well, I am gonna kiss you one day. So that's very cute. Um, and then the party kind of ends, and Cal is waiting for his dad outside. And then again, he sees Kiara, who's again the assistant producer of that TV show. And she's kind of telling him, oh, like I need to look for drama. I need to look for like some gossip to
Yeah.
engage people. And she's like, oh, I think I found it. And it's just very, very inconspicuous. I don't know. It's just very, very sly, very, very
Mhm.
weird. And I think this will be in your part later on
It
where
will.
like
Yeah.
stuff happens and it involves her. Um, so yeah. Um, so he also sees Donna at the end of the party, who's a social media person. And she kind of says that NASA like really loves his live streams and that he should keep doing it because it's bringing in that younger audience and it's bringing like so much engagement, which is a really good thing.
Mhm.
And says that he can literally like tour the facilities of like the space center whenever he wants, which is like really cool.
Mhm.
That's very cool. So then his dad's first day comes and Leon needs to go pick up their car from Leon? No, Cal. Oh my God. My brain. Cal needs to go pick up their car from Leon's house, and I think they're next door neighbors. It's literally like 2 minutes away. Um, so yeah, and then whilst he's doing that, he also calls Donna and he asks like if he could come up to the space station today to shoot something,
Mhm.
like do a live stream or like shoot a video. And she says yeah. And then he also asks if Leon can come with him. So they both go together.
Mhm.
And before when he goes over to ask him, Leon greets him and hugs him straight away. And he just continues to simp. Like there's so much simping anyway.
Yeah.
It's really cute. I love it. Um, and a quote that I have written down that Cal says is, "This crush will be the end of me." So dramatic.
Yeah. So, no.
So dramatic. How how old are they? 16,
I think they're
17?
17. I think they're different ages, I think. I think one of them is older. I could be wrong, but they're like in their
Okay.
graduating year,
Like in
something
that age.
like 17, 18.
Yeah, I never thought. Yeah.
Because by the end of it, they're um
Okay, yeah,
looking at like
cool.
universities and
Um,
colleges.
so yeah, I thought so. Um, so yeah, they go to the space center, and Leon takes Cal to like this cool kind of stimulation room where like they stimulate like all these situations, I think is what happens in that room.
Hmm.
And what happens in this room as well is, sorry, I think I'm freezing.
A little bit.
Can you see me?
You're like very pixely.
I can hear you.
Like, hold up.
One moment.
Oh, wait, I think it's my Siri. Siri, go away.
Still on.
Siri. Siri.
Sorry, I'm
Oh,
having trouble with the connection.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Sorry. Can you hear me?
uh, a little. Yeah, it's a bit like choppy, but I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Um, okay. So,
Okay.
cool. Okay, so also in this room, what happens is that they actually kiss, and it's so cute. It made me smile when I reread it. And then like straight after, Leon apologizes, which makes Cal kind of feel a bit shitty. And in his head, he's kind of like, I don't want to be with like another closeted person who like is so ashamed that they don't want to like kiss and that
Yeah.
needs to say sorry afterwards because they're so ashamed. Because the guy that he cheated on Deb with, that's what happened with them. Like
Mhm.
they kissed, and then he was just like so full of shame and stuff that it just like didn't go anywhere, and it
Yeah.
was just a really horrible experience, which totally is understandable. So he basically like walks out the room, and it's kind of awkward. But then Leon runs after him, which we love. We love that.
Mhm.
And Cal, like I said, he's still really annoyed, and he kind of rants at Leon. He's like, I don't want to be with someone who's like so ashamed, like who doesn't want to like be seen with me in like public and things like that. And then in reply, Leon just kisses him, which I love. Um, and he's like, I'm not saying this because you're upset. I'm saying this to show you how much I actually do like you and how
Mhm.
much I do want to be with you. Yeah. And after this, we have like a reflection of Cal being just like really scared of how fast these feelings are developing and like how kind
Yeah.
of intense they are. He's never felt like this towards someone before. So
Mhm.
it's really scary for him. But then after that, they go back and then they meet the person they're going to interview for Cal's video,
Mhm.
who's called Brendan. And I think he works with dirt, like analyzing kind of stuff. I don't really know. I'm not very sciencey. Um, but he's also the same person who helped move them into a new house when they came. So
Oh,
they kind of know each other a little bit. And then they go live and do um yeah, so that's kind of the end of that. And he got to do a video, which was really fun and cool. And then the next part we see is Cal wakes up to hearing like his mom like going all around the house, and she sounds like really distressed. And it's kind of early. I think it's about like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. maybe. And he goes down to see what's going on, and she's literally crying. She's shouting on the phone, and she's like so upset, and he doesn't know why. He tries to ask her, but then she just sends him back up to his room and like literally doesn't want to tell him. So he goes on Flash Fame, which is the kind of organization that he
mhm.
live streams on. It's like a kind of like social network. And he finds out that there was a jet that was like crashed and was wrecked with 5 NASA employees on it. 3 of them were astronauts. One was announced dead on the scene, and then 2 were rushed off to hospital. So it's then that moment of, oh my God, is my dad the one who died? Because
Mhm.
he was supposed to be going to Florida for a thing involved with NASA. So, like, was that him? Like, is he okay? Um, but then his mom comes up to see him and tells him he is okay. They've told me that he's in the hospital, but they won't tell her anything else about it. But at least he is okay,
Yeah.
which is a really good thing. But then he's like, oh my God, what if Leon's mom is the one who died? Because she would have been there with them as well. So then immediately he's like, oh my God, like, I feel bad for Leon. Like, what if it's his? Like, is she okay? So then he, at that early hour in the morning, goes to see him. But on his way, he literally starts sobbing. I think it's just like from all of that emotion that just happened. It was like the fear that it was his dad, and then the relief, and then just like all of that, and then him being scared for Leon. He just like starts sobbing, which is it's just really sad. And then we see Leon comes up kind of like right behind him. And then from the state of mind that Cal is in, he's like, oh my God, was it your dad? Like, is he dead? Like, was he the one who died? And Cal was like, oh my God, no, 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 I thought it was you. Like, I was coming to see if you were okay. And Liam was like, no, I was coming to see if you were okay. And it's just like this cute little moment between those two. But it turns out that it was Mark Bannon, the person who I talked about a little bit earlier, who was the first astronaut to be confirmed. He was the one who unfortunately died.
Yeah.
And he has a wife, so like that on her has got to be like super hard. But what happens the next day is that they have to all get up early to be at Grace's house, aka Leon's house as well, to talk about the accident. And the TV show people are going to be there to film it, which is just not really great at all because it's this really unfortunate, intimate thing that's happened. And they're just going to come in and film it and try and get like a bit of entertainment for the TV, which just, I hate stuff like that.
Yeah.
So his wife is called Mara on Star Watch, the TV like network, asked her to come over, which I think is really bad. Like
Yeah.
she is literally just out that her husband has died, and they're like, oh, will you come over and just like cry and we can capture it on camera? Like that's really bad.
Yeah.
That's like awful. But then Cal comes up with a kind of plan of action to expose them, along with Kiara, who again is the assistant producer. And so what he does is he goes live and reveals what Star Watch is really like behind the scenes. And what happens is Star Watch literally asks Mara, they're like, oh, could you like get on the floor again and just like cry and grieve again for a minute just because we didn't capture it before? Which is, that's like, I don't even know how to explain how bad it is. And he's literally capturing all of that. Which I'm like, you know what, like absolutely go off because expose them as like the people they are. And yeah, that's kind of that little bit. And then this is the very last bit of my section, which is like Cal and Leon just kind of talk a little bit together. And Cal knows like exactly what he wants to do. He's like talking about, like you said earlier, he's talking a bit about university and what he wants to do in the future, and how there's a few like good journalism programs in Brooklyn, in like New York, that he wants to do. And of course, him and Debs are planning on like sharing an apartment together. Obviously, because Deb's home situation is awful, and they're really good friends, and they'd want to live together anyway. But on the other hand, Leon is kind of the total opposite, and he doesn't know what he wants to do. He used to be like really amazing. He is still amazing at gymnastics, and like kind of like the perfect child. Like he's amazing at gymnastics. He could really do the Olympics and go far. But he's kind of just fallen out of love with it and doesn't really want to do that anymore. But he doesn't like know what he wants to do next, sort of thing. But yeah, that's me.
That's your
It's
part.
now you.
Which
Yeah.
This will come up later on, but that
Yeah.
little talk with Kiara, she ends up recording it all and becomes like a whole thing and takes it out of context.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that happen that you mentioned that might have not been seemed so important were actually they are little things that add back up near the end. Anyway, I'm starting off after like all that happened. Cal is in his room, listening to like cassettes, trying to calm down, trying to, get over everything that just happened.
Yeah.
And I love how he started with listening to like Dolly Parton. Like, great choice.
That's actually so slay of him though. I
So
love
slay.
that.
Yeah. And he ends up, it's like 7:30 in the morning. He ends up texting Leon, is like, do you want to go out for like a drive or like a walk? So he takes his dad's car and they go for a drive out into like the country, like not too far away, I don't think, just a little drive. And both of them do want something to happen, like a kiss or something. But Cal kind of gets too much into the stressing that Leon doesn't have a plan with his future.
Oh, yeah.
So that ends up being like a talk because Cal can't understand that someone else doesn't know what they're going to do when Cal is like so focused on his plans for the future.
Okay, related to that, can I ask you,
Mhm.
are you more of a planner or more of a like we'll see what happens, or maybe like in between? Like kind
More
of
of
where
a
would you lie?
like we'll see what happens sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the complete opposite.
Mhm.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in this I wouldn't like stress if like someone I was dating or my friend didn't know what they were doing next. So
Mhm.
like in that respect, I'm not like him. But I very much like to know what I'm doing. Because I
Yeah.
feel like if I don't know, I just stress out because I
Mhm.
I always like to know what's happening and I always like to plan in advance.
Yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
not I'm not like an impulsive person because I know some people can just like kind of do whatever
Mhm.
and like it's like that's totally fine because it works for
Mhm.
some people. But for me, it's not good. It
Yeah.
doesn't end well. But yeah, no, I was just interested to see
Yeah,
which
I'm
one
more of
person
like,
you would be in that situation.
I'll see what happens, see where it
Let's see.
goes.
Yeah.
Like, I have like thoughts and ideas, like kind of have a general idea of what I want to do, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
I'm making my way. I'm taking my own time
Yeah.
to do
No,
it.
no, for sure. No, it works differently for different people because obviously like some people just work better just kind of going with the doing like whatever with
Mhm.
like that general idea maybe, whereas some people work better with like a schedule and like exactly knowing what you're doing. So it
Yeah,
honestly just depends on the type of person you are, to be honest.
exactly. Yeah. I'm rather like a chill person for most things, so I'd kind of go with
Mm,
what happens. I don't like the stress about things most of the time. Like if something happens, I'm
that's
like, that happened. Okay,
that's so
move past
funny.
it. Like when I didn't get like the jobs recently, I'm like, all right, just there's nothing I can do about it. Just continue on. Because there was a
Wow.
senior at the place I worked at who he said something to me once. He was like, if it's not gonna be a problem in the next like month or so, don't need to worry about it. I'm like, okay. So
Oh,
I just took that. I'm like, all right, if it's not gonna be a problem, go on, I'll just continue.
oh my God, that's so funny.
Mhm.
Because I'm literally the exact opposite. Wow.
Mhm.
That's actually really funny.
But it works. So
No, yeah, no, I can see that.
anyway, yeah.
There we go.
They have that whole talk, and Cal kind of starts to stress out Leon because Leon's like, I don't know what I want to do and don't really want you to pressure me into doing it,
Mm,
which I don't know exactly when it starts happening, but later on at some point, Cal kind of gets too much and starts sending Leon like links to places he could apply for university
yeah.
or college.
Yeah,
And
see,
it's
that's
like,
got to be so overwhelming
yeah,
because, like, A, you don't know what you want to do anyway,
mhm,
and then B, the person you're in a relationship with is like sending you all of these things, like, oh, you have to do this, because it's
yeah.
like you don't have to go to university, guys. Like, you
No,
don't have to.
you don't have to get into
It's
tons of debt.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's considered the normal still, I think it
Mhm.
is, But like there's other alternative ways.
Yeah.
Like depending on what you do, like you don't have to.
Mhm.
Like I think it's still a thing where people feel pressured to go even when they don't want to go. Like
Yeah.
I just think that's the whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. That's got to be like so overwhelming for
Yeah.
Leon. Like yikes.
Yeah. For me personally, with like university and stuff, like you don't have to go to university. But for me, like pretty much everyone in my family hasn't gone to university. Or like they
Same.
have and they dropped out. So my big goal is to be one of the first in my family to go to university and finish with
Yeah,
a degree of some sort. I want to finish university and be one of those few.
I believe in you.
Yeah.
You've got this.
Like I'm not trying to like brag in everyone's face and make it seem like I'm better, but also I'm like I wanna I don't know. I don't wanna like follow the line of everyone in my family not going to
Yeah,
university.
no, I get that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I think I might be first one in like my
Mhm.
family like recent years,
Yeah.
probably. Because my sister did go, but she did drop out second year just because I think I've told you this already, but like she was gonna do dance, like she's a dancer,
Oh yeah,
but then
yeah.
she injured herself, so she couldn't, so she had to switch like real quickly to something else,
Mhm.
and that something else just wasn't for her, and she
Okay.
didn't know until she got there. Which like she's totally happy doing what she's doing now, so she's thriving.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't like university isn't for everyone. Like
No.
school isn't for everyone, you know? So
Exactly,
like
yeah.
it honestly it depends like I said, it depends on the type of person you are.
Mhm.
Like sometimes it's for you and sometimes it's not. And it's okay if it's not for you. Like
Yeah.
it's okay.
But yeah. Anyway, I should continue.
Like
Um,
the schedule.
hmm. Um, if there was a really cute point during the talk though, um, where oh, because Leon used to be into like gymnastics and stuff,
Yeah.
and Cal joked about Leon being his athlete, or the quote was like, yeah, something like that. And Leon's like, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of being yours. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh my God. That's
Wow.
actually that's really cute.
Yeah, that was really adorable. But yeah, it's all going like sweet and nice, and they're talking about things until they get a call from both, I think it's Cal's mom and then Leon's sister Kat,
Yeah.
talking about the mission. Yeah, the mission started, and Grace, Leon's mom, is on the mission, and then Cal's dad is her alternate.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
that's like a big thing, and they race home, and like there ends up being a party that happens, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like a sudden party.
Mm.
And they go in together. I think they go in together holding hands. And it's really cute, and they go, I guess they don't really talk to many people. I think they talk to like their family and that's really it. And then they go off on their own. Okay, so Kat, Leon, and Hal end up going on their own to Leon's bedroom. Because Leon's kind of having like a breakdown.
Mm.
Yeah. And they talk about like Leon's depression and why it's like that. Because there's kind of a lot of maybe not like really bad child neglect, but there is a little bit at least.
Mm.
Because Leon started getting like really depressed um in gymnastics because they kind of just took it too much and made it like once he got into the competition kind of stuff, he didn't like it. And things like Star Watch just ruined
Mm.
it for him.
Yeah.
And his parents started putting so much pressure on that. So he just stopped liking it. And then after like the depression like came aware to his parents, they just kind of left him alone. And so and also all everyone's attention is oil on his mom, obviously, because she's an astronaut.
Mm.
And he just wanted someone to notice that like, oh, he has like a boyfriend. Yeah. Someone to
Yeah.
finally notice something. But it's okay. They kind of have a little nice moment afterwards where they're like, it's fine. At least we have like ourselves and to be like our thing. And then Kat ends up taking like, a bunch of photos of them, like kissing or holding hands and stuff, which is adorable.
I love that the fact that Kat is probably like the biggest shipper of them.
Yeah, I
She's
love
like the
that.
biggest advocate. She's like, yes. I love her. She's so
I
fun.
love Kat so much. Oh yeah, since like after the party happens, all the families have to fly out to Florida
Mm.
for I think it's the launch of the satellite, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, they fly out there for that to happen. And like when the day actually comes for the satellite launch, doesn't go good. It
Oh my
explodes.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, the satellite explodes, and then like everyone's freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? Yeah, Cal ends up pulling out flash frame, and starts recording a little bit on like what just happened,
Yeah.
but then has to quickly go off and find his family, and like figure out everything, make sure everyone's okay, because like
Mm.
obviously freaked out, and there were some people that were in it. I think
Oh. Oh wow, okay.
I don't know what it was exactly, but like how to make sure everyone's okay. And
Mm.
then there's like whole shooting stars, Star Watch content, which I'm just gonna ignore that. We don't like Star Watch or shooting
No,
stars.
no. Yeah, no, we don't.
Yeah. And then like they get after all that happens, they get home and no one's really talking to each other because
Mm.
just everything that happened. And he decides to finally call it. No, he doesn't decide to call anyone, but Deb decides to call him, and they have like a whole like conversation about how Cal has not been calling him, has been like ignoring her calls, and
Mm.
she's like, "Well, you haven't been calling me, but I have a new address. We were evicted and stuff like that."
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So she ends up staying with like a cousin, I believe. And then it's like dead and stuff because Cal no longer can move to New York to live with Deb because Deb doesn't have a place. So that was his backup plan. And then she gets upset, like, you just care about yourself, not about
mm.
the fact that I just got evicted. And then phone ends, and Deb kind of just doesn't answer for weeks, I don't think. At least for a while.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, all this stuff is going down, and then suddenly there's a Star Watch thing that happens. The shooting stars. And oh, this shit's about to go down. So much is gonna go down.
Oh, this is the part, isn't it?
Yeah. Bringing back the thing about Kiera where she was talking to Cal outside, I think with her van around the time of the party. During that, she was recording him the whole time,
Mm.
and she goes on Shooting Stars and talks with Josh Farrow because he wants to kind of like blackmail him. He wants to blackmail Cal and everything, and make it seem like he's horrible.
Which is so crazy to me that they're like adults
Yeah,
and
they're
they're
adults.
doing like this kid.
Yeah,
And it's like,
but
why are you so threatened by him?
I know,
That
but they want views, and they know that drama will get them
yeah,
views.
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, like that's
That's
why
the
they've
whole thing
recorded.
that, yeah, that's the whole thing that Shooting Stars like relies on and centers on. It's like all about the drama and the
Yeah,
gossip. They don't care like what that costs. They
no,
they will do anything to get it.
yeah.
It's just like crazy.
Mhm. So like, yeah, they show like bits of like the satellite explosion and stuff, and then Kiara um mentions like they were talking about Leon and Cal and how like they took a video of them together, but Leon's family doesn't know about like them together. Or at least like parents don't. So Leon's kind of like freaked out and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Kiara ends up playing that um recording and kind of plays it without context to make it seem like Cal doesn't want to be there at all and is gonna leave as soon as he can. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm freezing, aren't I?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I know, it keeps freezing. I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. Um,
Yeah, I heard you. I heard everything you said.
okay. Yeah, she just is like exploiting him and making it seem like he doesn't want to be there, making it seem like he doesn't care about Leon or Kat or anyone, and he'll
Kind of
leave
like
as soon as it happens.
self-biased, isn't it? You
Yeah,
know, like reality shows when they're like clip things that like they take it out of like a bigger clip, which
yeah,
has like a better like yeah, it's like yeah, it's
yeah.
not great.
And then not as important, but bringing back to when they were gardening, he was
Mm.
complaining how he didn't like gardening, and then she took that out of context, which he doesn't like gardening, but she made it seem like he more hates it here, and she doesn't want to
Oh
be.
my
He doesn't want to
God.
be helping out or being part of the community at all. And he's just like,
Oh
trying to
my
get people to
God.
watch his stuff reviews and for money. And that's all wrong,
Yeah.
obviously.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
after her thing, like he's freaking out. Leon won't
Yeah.
answer his calls. No one else will call.
Mm.
And I think it gets worse. Yeah, it gets worse. Um, there's a call. Oh yeah, two people, other people. What has happened? Oh yeah, Jason. What was his name? Yeah, Josh has a talk with either it's an old recording or something, but it's about Calvin like senior and about how originally they got
Mm.
Calvin on board because of Cal's like flash frame stuff and they wanted like views and content and popularity.
Oh shit.
So they're talking about how
So it
that's like
wasn't
a
even for his dad. It was basically the
so that kind of
way.
just
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So
Wow.
everyone's his dad is like not doing good, but no,
No,
yeah,
I bet he wouldn't be.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. He ends up does calling Leon, and Leon's like, "Do you like actually care and everything?" Doesn't want to be like the only one putting in effort into a relationship if the other person's
Yeah.
gonna like ditch and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they sort of like break up because of that, or at least like have a little break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. hmm And he decides it doesn't actually happen, but he decides he should drive to Deb's new address, which is where are they? They're in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
So he plans to take like a really long drive out to all the way to New York from Texas.
I think if I remember right from the beginning, it took them like about a day.
Yeah, it takes
Or
a
like
while.
it took a while for them to get
Yeah.
there.
But instead, doesn't happen. He ends up parking somewhere on the side of the road and just like having a breakdown because so much is happening. It's too much for him to handle.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
How fun. We love a breakdown, don't
Oh, so fun.
we?
Mhm. But I think everything is fine with, I don't know, his mom and his dad are like, I don't know, fine. They're dealing with it. Like, they're not really mad at Cal, but he ends up going to see Kat. Well, he meant to go see Leon, but he saw Kat because Leon didn't want to come out. Are you good? You're frozen there, buddy.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. Continue
Oh, yeah. Um, he
with
tries
whatever
to,
you're doing.
yeah, I was talking about how he tries to go and talk to Leon about like what happened on Shooting Stars and
Mm,
what they said to try to like explain to him like that's all a lie. Like he meant to leave like originally when he got there because he had so many plans like the internship, but like
yeah.
after meeting everyone, he's like, I don't want to leave. But obviously Leon's not ready, so it's Kat who comes out and they talk about it. And Kat's like, I understand you both like, you do both love each other, but just need to give it some time for both of them. Mm. Yeah. However, because like how he has a thing where he feels like he has to fix things.
Yeah, that's his thing.
Yeah,
That's his issue.
yeah. He feels he has to fix everything. And his mom talks to him like, you can't fix everything. No one's broken. Like you can help things like get better, be like improve things, but not fix them.
Yeah, it's
That's
like an
not.
issue. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a need
yeah.
to like do it, and yeah,
And it's not his job to do that.
yeah,
But he talks to his dad and is like, I know what I can do. He's like, I can do my flash fame thing and go to like the base and um take videos of different people, like different scientists, and get them to talk about like what they do and their role in making this whole thing happen. Because Shooting Stars does not do that. Shooting Stars does not care about what they do. And his dad's like, yes, that would be great. We can get that to happen. And brings him around to like, I think five or more from different people. First was that guy named Brendan, who has been trying to actually start his own Flash Fame account. And then talked about like the dirt and the ground and how that is like a big thing. Ends up talking to Camilla as well, who is the simulation person, and she talks about how um Calvin Sr. is like incredible what he does, and she has to keep putting in like um challenges for him to do. It just doesn't work every time because he always figures it out. Um, Later on, um, Calvin Sr. ends up taking them to whoop, hello, it's just me now, everyone. Welcome to the Burrow, a podcast where we discuss our favorite books Very fun.
Hi.
Hi.
I changed my Wi-Fi, so it might be better.
Hopefully it's better. But yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know.
like, I'm not sure if you heard me the whole time.
I heard a little bit.
Okay. It was just
It's
like
okay.
I went over it and it's recorded for me. Um,
That's fine. Don't worry.
yeah. Um, he ends up talking to a bunch of these people, talking to the person who worked on making a satellite, and gets
Mm,
them to talk about everything. And it's a bunch of
yeah.
different people. And I guess to the end, and he turns the camera towards his dad and was like, you should tell something about your experience and how you like your why you want to do this so bad, why you want to be an astronaut, and he tells him the story, and then flips kind of around to Cal, and Cal does his little thing and makes the introduction to where this whole thing, the goodness actually starts. It's like the um climax and like the good part of the climax. You know how stories work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, he has a thing set up for um different clips of the videos to people. I think from 9 o'clock it starts, where you do like introduction and then like 15-minute intervals for each person for like an hour, and then all that, and be like, please put in your votes to. I forgot to mention actually, um, the government. This is a thing as well. The government is gonna cut funds on NASA. Was trying to do
Oh.
that, and so Cal was trying to make this video so I can get more people to like interested in the cause. So that when they vote for it,
Yeah.
they can vote so they can keep NASA on board. Keep NASA like,
Yeah.
you know, giving money to
Yeah.
them. And it ends up going like amazingly. Um Actually I'll just before that, um have like these little talks with like his mom and getting catched up with people. And then Cal goes to Leon and Kat's place and they all watch the video together. And they sit happily and have like some champagne or something, some kind of alcohol. And they just watch it all go down. And it becomes like so famous. Um every like news network and like journalist thing, Teen Vogue, everything is like, oh, like, New York Times as well. It's like this big thing is happening. This kid is like, you know, it's become such a big thing. So you can guess they won. The government talked with them and is like, we'll continue funding you for the NASA project for the Orpheus V1. I don't know what that is in Orpheus 6?
Orpheus 6, I think.
6?
Yeah.
Yeah, because V is
Yeah.
5 and then plus 1.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
6.
Um, yeah, V6. Um, it's kind of like, whoa, all this happened.
Mm.
Yeah. Shooting Stars ends up leaving, is gone. Yeah, Josh leaves, Kiera leaves, and they're kind of like annoyed that they lost their job. And Kira calls him like naive, and you'll learn later that like, you know, can't always be like that. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just yeah, it's that's almost basically the end. They have a little like celebration. He goes and talks to some people about helping out with like social media and stuff, and then with all the emails he's getting about like internships and
Oh my god.
interviews. But as he said, he's the interviewer, not the interviewee.
Mm.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Um, I'm getting very close to the end where it's just like wholesome things, I'd say. Um, Cal and Leon both say they love you to each other, and
Oh,
Leon ends up telling his parents about them, so they're like officially in a relationship.
oh my god.
Yeah,
That's so cute.
yeah. And um, Calvin end up Cal. Cal
Calvin.
ends up staying in like that area. I mean, I'm just gonna move to the end.
Yeah. Nah, just move to that.
Yeah, Cal ends up going to university in somewhere in the south. I don't remember the exact place, but going to a university or college there. And then Leon actually ends up going to the same place, and he ends up working um at a gymnastic place while working with kids because he gets to do somersaults all day, which
Oh,
is
that's
basically a big
cute.
thing. Yeah, that's basically it. Everything's like good. They're still in the NASA base. Deb is doing good. Well, good.
Everyone's doing good.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
happy endings.
I know. Oh my god, that's so
Mhm.
nice. Okay, so like we always do, thoughts on the book as like a whole.
Oh, incredible. I love this book.
Me too. I think I introduced you to this book, didn't I?
Did you? Or I'd introduced you to it.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought I got it first.
Did you?
I think so. When did you get this one?
I don't know.
Okay. I
I
don't
think I
know.
got it from my day. Oh, I don't know. When was it published? Let me have a look.
Yeah, overall, great book. I love it.
Um, oh my god. It was I th- years ago. It was published in 2020.
Do we want to do our fun facts about the author? Do you have a fun fact?
Oh my god, yeah.
I hopefully you have the same
Yeah.
thing.
Do
I'll go.
you?
I do. My fun fact is that Bill Stamper actually had a book coming out this year. It was a sequel to a book called Golden Boys, which is about like a group of friends. I'm not
Yes,
sure. Yeah, first book
I
Golden
want to
Boys.
read it.
Yeah, second book is
Yeah,
Afterglow.
I literally just saw that. Like, I think when I Googled him and I was like, oh my God, he has more books. I want to read
Yeah.
more of his books. So that's going to be on my to
Mhm.
be read
I need a
list, even though it's
bookshelf.
great. Oh, don't. I'm looking at the bookshelves in my room and it's like they're completely packed full of books. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
Whenever you move out, you're gonna be like, you're gonna have fun.
You know what? I didn't have that many books with me at uni.
Mhm.
I basically took all of them home with me in like Easter because I wasn't
Okay.
reading anything because I was so busy. But I'm looking at this like lesbian book I have on my shelf. I'm like, oh, I haven't read this one yet. But yeah. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, most of my bookshelves now are just like fully packed. I need to reorganize this room.
Okay.
It's really bad.
I still have my books in boxes
Oh my God.
because I need to paint my room probably because usually they
Yeah.
go in like a shelf,
Mm,
but I just haven't gone to that.
yeah. Oh, okay. Should I say
Yeah.
mine?
Sure.
I feel like it's kind of basic, but I think it's cool.
Mhm.
So he did a BA degree in music,
Mhm.
and then he also did an MA in publishing with creative writing, which is
Okay.
cool. Yeah. So he has 2 degrees. We love that for him.
We do love that.
We do. I love it. I think that's cool that he did music
Yeah.
as a first degree, and then maybe he like later got interested in writing. I'm not too sure,
Mhm.
but seems very cool. Did you have a favorite quote that you wrote down?
I did not. Did you have one, I assume?
I do. Can I say it?
Yeah, go for it.
Yay. I saw it and I was like, this is me. This is like the discussion we were having earlier.
Mhm.
So I think it's from Cal.
Mhm.
It is. I'm having a plan at all that terrifies me.
That does okay.
Yeah. That's basically the discussion we were having earlier about like planning and then being
Yeah.
spontaneous. But yeah, I read that and I was like, oh my God, same bestie. Me and you.
Yeah, I just go with the flow usually. I'm not
I
like
I wish I could be like that. Like
yeah.
I actually wish I could, but I can't. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
We love the stress.
Mhm.
Like it's fun.
Yeah. Are we doing theater facts?
Yes.
Yeah. I have one of those.
Yeah.
This is just a theater fact of like my own experience and stuff. First one I mentioned, I love actors so much. They're so silly. We're doing The Tempest right now for The Fringe,
Yeah.
and I I love their warm-ups.
It's so fun. It's actually
They're literally like on the ground, and the director's like, imagine you're like a sandbag or a bunch of sand, and you roll around, feel the grains of sand move like slow as you can. Don't like make any sudden movements. Just take your time, and you just see a bunch of actors who are like adults, like full-fledged adults, just rolling on the ground, and I'm like, okay,
it's so freeing. It's actually it's so fun.
yeah. Anyway, originally I was gonna mention about props. The use of foam. Foam is great. Horrible to
Oh,
work with. Hate working with foam because when you cut it, it gets like all the powdery, the
yeah.
particles like everywhere. But you can make like really good stuff if you're really creative.
Yeah.
That looks like very realistic.
Mm,
Mm,
that's cool. That is
yeah.
cool.
What about you?
Um, my fact is kind of basic.
Okay, you can
It's
share it
cool
though.
though. Cool. Um, so this is according to like records, apparently the first like kind of official musical in like the whole world was this thing called The Beggar's Opera, which was written in 1728. And
Okay.
it's like a kind of like satire opera musical,
Okay.
which like I read that and I was like, that rings a bell because there's some students at my uni who are on like the college level, so who
Mhm.
are a little bit younger, who are doing this for their final project. And I was like, oh, that name, like I've heard of it before. And I just think that's cool that it's still relevant and people are
Yeah.
still doing like 1728 that was written in.
Mm.
And like in 2023, I've heard of it and I know some people are doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, that's my fun
Yeah.
little fact. Thank you for joining us in this episode where we discussed The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper.
Yay.
We both really, really love this book. I just think it's a nice, cute, like really easy read. That I reckon you could read it in less than a day, and it's just I don't know. I feel like it's a really feel good kind of heartwarming.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's conflict in there, but I don't know. I really enjoyed reading it the first time, and it's been nice to kind of relive it and reread it.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for joining us.
Mhm.
And we definitely want to read more of his books. So as
Oh
well,
yeah.
check out some of his other books that have been released.
Mhm.
I think he mainly writes queer books, which we love and we
Okay.
support all the way.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, for sure. So join us on our next episode where we're discussing it's a pretty popular book. It's also
Mhm.
been made into a film, so you've probably heard of it that way. So it's called Simon versus the Homo sapien Agenda, which
Mhm.
is also known as Love, Simon to the
Yeah.
people who watch the film. I think it will be interesting to revisit it because it's been years since
Mhm.
I've read the book and years since I've watched the film. So like when I first read it, I really loved it, but I don't know, I might have different opinions when I
Maybe.
like revisit it. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a
I'm
while.
excited. You can come check us out on our Instagram, our Twitter, which we need to post on our Twitter more often.
No,
Our
I'm
Twitter,
doing it.
you're
Have you
doing
not
it?
seen me posting on it?
I have
Check.
not. I don't go on Twitter much. Um,
Dude, I'm my Twitter game
you're doing good.
so good. I'm telling
Anyway,
you.
um, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I think that's it. Those 3 are our main ones.
YouTube.
YouTube as well.
If you want to see our faces,
Yeah, if you want to see our faces, go on
YouTube is the
YouTube.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can, if you want to email us suggestions, or just contact us on like DM us on Instagram. But if you want to email us, our email is the.burrow.pod@gmail.com, and I'll put all the stuff in the description. So
Also, something I wanted to say as well quickly, I just realized there's like this new feature on Spotify where like I've kind of been adding like questions to the episodes on Spotify. So like people who listen on Spotify
Mhm.
can kind of answer the question, and then I can make it public when you're watching the
cool.
episode. So
Okay.
like for example, because our Heartstopper episodes are so popular and like
Yeah.
obviously it's Heartstopper. And on the first episode, there's a question I put which is like who's your favorite character? And like I've got like quite a lot of replies through, and you can like
cool.
see it when you're scrolling. Yeah, so that's pretty fun if you want to like answer any questions.
I did
Little
not
fun
know about that.
little fun Q&A on Spotify. But yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah. Happy Pride,
Yes.
everyone.
Happy
And
Pride. Oh my
we'll
God.
see you soon.
Bye.